January 6th, 2022. Another beautiful day in paradise. It is beautiful. A little chilly though. It finally warmed up to 10 degrees and it's about, well, a little after noon. We got everything pretty much cleaned up around here. The last snowstorm dumped some wet, heavy snow, about 18 inches or so, and we got that all cleaned up. Got the driveways polished down to a slick, icy sheen. I had a guy come up with a sand truck and sand it. It's not too bad right now because it's so cold that everything is sticky, but it's supposed to warm up. We got all the roofs that need to be pretty well cleaned off. Got the hangar roof cleaned off, and the cabin, of course, itself cleaned when the weather got warm. All the snow slid off of it. Got the roof over the sawmill cleaned up. Bathhouse is cleaned up. The shop is in good shape. We got the roof here over the basement cleaned up, and of course the roof there over the awning over the front door, that cleaned itself up when it warmed up and all the snow came off the roof of the house. We got the roof on the shed there where the walls panels are stored. That got all cleaned off. The only thing that's not cleaned off yet is my lumber drying shed. And Carl was started on that, but he kind of got chilled and then had to go to work, but he'll come back and finish that. Had one little disaster here that's not really such a disaster as you might think, where the overhang is over the cab. That buckled. We bought that camper back a little over 10 years ago. Had it stored at a friend's place down south, and then my brother took it out, put it at his place and didn't cover it up. It got damaged a little bit down there. We didn't really notice it. We went out, I think in 2011 with it and did a trip around western United States, went down through Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Arizona. Everything worked fine on it, but on our trip back up through Canada it started falling apart, and so there was some pretty good water damage, some rot in it and stuff, and I've just parked it there. I haven't had time to deal with it. It's not worth fixing. So anyway, that's just been sitting there, and that overhang there over the cab over part buckled with the snow on it. Not too worried about that. But everything else is pretty much cleaned up here. Judy's been working on her chicken house pretty steady. She's worked out there almost every day. So I got a notification a few days ago from my neighbor, and he's been down in Montana. He wanted to see if I could find somebody to shovel his roofs off on his place. We've been trying to get people, but all the people that are doing the work are so busy that they've got us on the list, but they might not get to us. We've had over 8 feet of snow so far this winter since November, and it's settled down to about 4 to 5 feet on the flat, and it's that soft, real powdery snow. Even though it's frozen and crusty on top, you can't walk through it. You can't even walk on it with snowshoes. So people really couldn't get up there to his place. So I went out a couple days ago and started trying to beat a pathway up to his property. Got about halfway up and started running low on fuel. So yesterday I went and got some more diesel, fueled up the Bobcat, went up there and finished cleaning out and checked his place out, and it's not in too bad a shape yet. But we're forecast to go into warm weather again. We're forecast to get heavy snow on Friday, tomorrow night, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. And then it's supposed to start raining and warm up into the 40s, and so this place is all going to turn into a nasty mess. Anyway, I've got his driveway cleaned out. I looked around his place, didn't see any serious damage over there. The gutters were down off of one of his porches, but everything's covered with snow. He didn't have a snow shovel over there, and it was starting to get late. We had a little bit of problem with our water line in the cabin here, and I had to fix that, so I come over and fixed it yesterday. I'm going to get dressed now, some warm clothes. Like I said, it's warmed up to almost 10 degrees. It was down below zero most of the morning, all overnight, most of the morning. And so anyway, I'm going to go get my warm clothes on and grab a shovel and go over there and start working on his property a little bit and see if we can't. We got to make sure that his house and stuff stays good until we can get somebody to go over there and finish shoveling everything else out. There's my neighbor's driveway. You can see the berm of snow there along the edge of the road. That's been bermed back by the grader. They winged it back, so it was a lot wider than what it looks in the driveway here. Well, I took all the snow, the packed snow and stuff out of the berm and took it over across the highway and tried dumping it over there. I tried doing what I do with my driveway, but the snow was just too soft to do that with, so I had to spread it out over a pretty good area there. But we got rid of it over there. It's out of the way, off the highway, out of the way of the snow plow and stuff. Well, and we had about 4 feet of snow, up to 5 feet in places, in the driveway itself here. So the first portion of that I took again, I had the bucket on the Bobcat, and I just filled the bucket up and took it over across the street and dumped it over there. And once I got up there a little ways, I started bringing some of it out here, dumping it up on the bank to make it quicker. And as we went up the driveway, started trying to find places to put it here on the edge of the driveway. It's kind of a pain because there's so many trees here right in the driveway. May look quaint and pretty here having all these trees overhanging the driveway in the summertime, but it's a pain in the butt in the wintertime when you got to get rid of snow. So trying to get rid of that stuff without knocking over any trees or anything was kind of a challenge, but we got it done. And we beat our way up through here. I had to do it one scoop at a time basically. But once I got up in here to the driveway, wanted to be able to open it up so we could get a vehicle in here if we hire somebody to come in and shovel these roofs off. So I had to push the snow around. I couldn't take it all back all the way down the driveway to get rid of it. There was a lot of snow here. So the first thing I did was started pushing it over there and piling it up. The neighbor's got a wellhead right in there, and he's got rocks around the wellhead and stuff to protect it from getting hit by a car or something. But the snow all covered all that stuff up, so it really wasn't visible. So I just started pushing snow there and piling it up on it, stayed away from it, and then pushed the snow back over it, so the snow berm is going to protect it, keep anybody else from coming in and hitting it that might not know it's there. And we did the same thing up here, just started pushing the snow back, piled it up as high as I could there. Really hard to do because that snow is so soft, it just runs down. Oh, it's hard to get it piled up, but we got it. Run along there and pushed it back over there and piled it up. It's got stacks of lumber here, stickered, drying. Tried to keep it away from those so when it melts it doesn't get in there and get those all wet. This house up here, got a steep stairway up to it. It's all completely full of snow. That's the first thing I'll do is start shoveling that out. And then you got deck around the house. It's got some snow on it, but the porch, that's got pretty heavy snow on it. The porch going into the building and whatnot there. I can see there's some gutters that are pulled down right there. Otherwise it doesn't look too bad. The snow is off of here on the south side of the house. The long slope of it, the snow's all came off of it. And the short side of the house, it's still piled up there. But I don't think that's a problem on that house. It's pretty stout, pretty well built. So then we've got shop here. Still a lot of snow on it. It hasn't come off any at all. It's got a long overhang over it too on this side that's unsupported. It's cantilevered out, so that's not too good for holding snow. Got a little building there. That one's pretty stout building, a small building. Got a lot of snow on it, but it should be pretty good, except there's a little extension off the side there with a freezer. What was that, cantilevered out? No, that's got some support on it, so that's not too bad. But it's got a lot of snow on it, and it's got trees and stuff right there that are laying down on top of it, so that's holding the snow on there so it won't come off. And there's actually more snow buildup on that than ordinarily would be, because it all come off the trees there too. Well, and we got his trailer, utility trailer that he's converted into a lumber kiln, and that's got quite a bit of snow on it. And back over there behind is the greenhouse, and I'm surprised the greenhouse is still standing. First thing I'm going to do is get over here and start shoveling the porch out so I can get up there on his house, on the main house, and get it cleaned up. It's getting late here. Well, not late, it's almost 3 o'clock, probably after 3 o'clock now. Just as I was getting started, another friend of the owner here, Jeff, showed up, Matt, and he come out here and cleaned off the greenhouse, got most of the snow off of it, so it should survive now. And then he went over and cleaned off the roof of that cargo trailer that Jeff uses as a kiln for his wood, for drying his wood. I got the stairway up to the house cleaned off, sidewalk up there and the stairway up to the house. and then cleaned off the deck of the house. That had quite a bit of snow off of it. It came off that roof. It was kind of nasty because it froze on there. It was wet snow from that rain and stuff we had the other day, and it was froze on there hard. I tried getting some of that snow off the roof up there on that entryway roof, but I couldn't get it. I thought maybe if I got up on the snow that was piled up there on the deck, I could get up there and get that, but I'm gonna have to get the ladder and get up there to get that. The entryway over the door is pretty strong, but there's getting to be a lot of snow up there, and if that rain hits here and soaks that up, that could peel that off of there. Awning there, over the deck, that's not too bad. That'll hold up a lot of snow. It's already got a big chunk of it up there. Problem is, it's tearing off the gutter as it comes off of there. Well, anyway, that's what we got done. That was a pretty good chore for the day. Wore me out anyway. So that little cabin there should be okay. That's a small cabin, stoutly built. There's another cabin back up in there, and that's got a really steep pitch roof on it, and that one should be okay too, although the snow's not sliding off of it right now, but if it's not, we'll always say it should have been. One that kind of concerns me now is this shop that he's got here, kind of carport. This used to be a cover over a camp trailer that they lived in for a long time. And that's a pretty good stout roof on there, but we've got about a 4-foot overhang cantilevered out on this side here. And that's getting to be a lot of weight on that overhang there. So tomorrow I'll come up and see if I can't get that snow off of that entryway for the door for the house, and then see what I can do about relieving some of the weight off of this. And I went in the house a little bit to check it out, to make sure the heaters and stuff were working on there, and it's nice and warm in there. The power has been out a couple, 3 times, but the heaters have come back on there, so it's nice and warm inside the building. That's all I did, is just go in there enough to make sure the heaters were in there, and everything was okay in there, but all looked good. I come over here just afternoon to start working on getting some more snow off the buildings here. When I got here, Matt was here. He was just setting up to get up there on that carport. I went in and grabbed a step ladder, took it up there on the house, cleaned off that awning, that little porch over the doorway, and the rest of the snow that was still on the bay window, the bump out there on the house, got it off there. Meanwhile, just as we were getting started, a pickup come up. There was a guy from the Catholic Church and his 2 boys, and they jumped up on that roof there. And with Matt, they whipped it out pretty good, pretty quick. They didn't get all the snow off of it because they're afraid if they get down to the metal roof, they'll start sliding. But they got it down to the point where it shouldn't be in danger of collapsing. Forecast says we're supposed to get maybe anywhere from a foot to 18 inches of snow starting tomorrow through Sunday, and then it's supposed to warm up and rain. But it's clouding up pretty quick right now. The temperature's gone up to 11 degrees, which is the warmest it's been for several days. I think it was -3 or something like that this morning. So it's supposed to get up to 16 this evening, and then up higher than that tomorrow. But the way it's clouding up, I think it's going to hit a little faster than what the forecast is. So anyway, there was 4 feet plus of snow on top of that building. If it got another foot or 2 of snow on there, of wet, heavy snow like we had the last time it snowed, and then started raining, that snow that was on there was relatively dry, and it'd soak up the rain pretty fast and get pretty heavy in the hurry. So that's good. That's cleaned off. That building should be safe. Matt got the greenhouse done yesterday, and this cargo trailer here done yesterday. I shoveled out the stairways up to the house yesterday and got the deck all cleaned off. Then I put the ladder up there today and cleaned off that awning over the porch and the bay window. I wasn't too worried about the bay window section of it. That thing is pretty well supported, but that awning over the porch, so there's still 4 feet of snow on top of it, and that is cantilevered out. It's got a nice diagonal brace on it out there to hold it up, but they get a lot of weight on it that could rip loose from the wall and come down pretty easy with as much weight as there was on there, and that weight builds up pretty fast. One of the problems with that awning, the snow builds up on that north side there, and it won't slide off of it. It wouldn't slide off of it at all because it goes up against that roof over that bay window, and it just dams that up right there. And as much snow as we had and it built up, then that breaks that snow from coming off of that bump out there for that bay window, so that keeps that from coming off. So there was a lot of snow buildup on there. It's all cleaned off now. I'm not too worried about that. I'm looking at this little cabin here. There's a lot of snow on it, and on the half of the roof here on the south side of it, the trees are pulled down with the snow on it, and that keeps the snow from coming off of it. I'm awful tempted to get up there and start shoveling that off, but this old fat man's kind of wore out right now. I gotta go rest up a little bit. My back and my ankle are both hurting. So anyway, most of the stuff is pretty good. And then the other cabin up above, I can't even tell what it is. You can't even get to it. There's so much snow around it and stuff, you can't even see it. But it's got a steep enough pitch roof on it that it should be okay.